Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying an important part in this text. And what is the important part? Of understanding that the Jnata, Jnanam, Jneyam is Brahman alone. What is that name Jnata, Jnanam, Jneyam? It means that what we want to know, which is what? Brahman, is not an object that can be taken, that can be seen, that can be held, that can be experienced as every other object in the universe is experienced. Every other object in the universe is experienced through what? Sense organs. I see, I hear, I eat, I take the fragrance of a rose flower. This is what I do. Now, Brahman is not available for the organ of the senses. In other words, to put it technically, for Pratyaksha Pramana, this is what we saw last time and this is what we are seeing. And then it is not also available for other means of knowledge like Anumana. Brahman must be there. Why? Because of something. I can't infer. It must have rained. I can infer. Why? Because I'll wake up and see water everywhere on the road. Then I can infer it must have been raining. I didn't see the rain, but I saw the wetness, and from previous times I know that wherever there is all round wetness, it means it must have rained. That is the logical inference. I see smoke on the mountain. What is the inference? Fire. There is fire somewhere. Because wherever there is smoke, there is fire. Not the other way around. Wherever there is fire, there need not be smoke. But wherever there is smoke, what is there? Fire is there. How do I know? Because of my cooking experiment in the kitchen. So I have set the kitchen on fire and I know that smoke was there and then the fire came. So therefore, I am well versed in this experiment. And so what is the conclusion? Wherever there is smoke, there is fire. If there is smoke, there must be fire. If the roads are wet, it must have rain. But there is no such conditional statement we can make with Brahman. This happened, so Brahman must be existent. No. Because, why? Brahman is you. Unprovable, non-provable. Unprovable, that which does not need proof. Not only it is non-provable, it does not need any kind of proof. That which needs no proof is Brahman, and that proof is basically you. Why? Why does it need no proof? It is self-proven, self-evident. Self-evident, self-proven I needs no proof. Are you here? This question I keep asking. It never gets old. What will you say? Yes. You will not say, oh, I think I need to make a phone call. Can I get back to you later about my existence? Your existence is never in doubt. That I exist is not in doubt. What is in doubt? What is the nature of this existence? Is it mortal? Is it immortal? Is it finite? Is it infinite? Is it subject to sorrow? Is it subject to limitlessness? This is what is in doubt. Not the existence itself is not in doubt. This is what is in doubt. And so therefore, this creation cosmology called Pravesha Shruti, we saw last time, this is just a summation. And it's an important summation because many things could have been missed. So the Pravesha Shruti, which we saw last time, how Brahman, so to speak, created. Created is more like manifest. It manifested itself into many. Like even the sun manifested itself into different pots of water. But how many suns? One sun, many pots of water, same reflection everywhere. That is one example that is given. Or we can take our favorite example, pot and clay. Clay, which is what? So how many clays are there? We can't say one clay, two clay. There is only clay. And that clay manifested itself into the whole jagat of earthenware. Into the earthenware jagat, it manifested itself. And then, in the same way, Brahman also manifested itself as everything that you see, everything that has form, everything that doesn't have form. We saw all this in the previous classes. Everything that is here, that is all Brahman alone. But then the mumukshu, jignasu, the one who is wanting to study, has a question. What is that? Yes, I know Brahman, but how to experience it? And they will elongate the word experience. Why? Because they want it for a long time, infinitely, in fact. That's why they say like that. They want to experience it. And so that is why here, let us go back to the Bhashya there, a bit from the back. Then you'll see, what it says. Adi Shankara says this very beautifully. And what does he say? I just had it here, yeah. So we saw here that, this is what it said here on page, if you're following page 283 in our online Bhashya. So then it says that the only way to experience this Brahman is to understand it as yourself. Experience, are you experiencing yourself or not? You have to say yes. You can't say I'm not experiencing myself. And why? If I say, why aren't you experiencing yourself? I'm disconnected. That means what? You are experiencing the disconnection from yourself and you're noticing that you're disconnected. No, I can't experience Brahman because Brahman is all joy and I'm sad. That means what? That joyful, limitless Ananda, Ananta Brahman is broadcasting the sadness. So this is what we have to see. This is what we have to understand. And so here, so he says, Adi Shankara says that not only Brahman entered the universe, so to speak. What universe? The universe that you objectify. But it also entered another universe that is difficult to objectify, but you can objectify it nonetheless, which is what? Your internal emotive world, thought world, buddhi, antahkarana, manaha, chittam. All this it has entered. So there, it's a simultaneous entry because space and time are yet to come, and so there is not like it did this and then it did this, because there is no time lag here. So it simultaneously manifested as the external world and as the internal world of thought, thinker, etc. within. So the same Brahman, which is in the form of manifold objects that I can objectify, is in the form of manifold cognitions of those very objects internally. So you see, between myself, the one who is the ahankara, who is experiencing this body, mind, sense complex, and the jagat out there, what is the connection? Cognition is the only connection. So the cognition is the connection, and so I am the cognizer, and then all the things in the universe are objects of cognition, number one. I am cognizer, number two, and then I not only cognize the objects, but I cognize the various moods of the subject, which is myself itself. Like how now I am restless. Meaning what? I am observing restlessness within. Now I am sad. I am observing the status of sadness within. And now I am happy. I'm observing this emotion called happiness within. Observing means what? Cognizing. Because once I cognize, once I observe, I'm already cognizing. So then I am the cognizer, and the whole world, whether it's the external world of names and forms, the cognition means names and form only. But what else can you cognize? That's all. Nama Rupa cognition, nothing else. So name and form cognition, and then what else? The cognition of the various internal states of mind, states of emotions, etc. within. So I am the cognizer. So between the cognizer and the cognized, what is the connection? The means of knowledge. So when I cognize the world outside, I use external, the means of knowledge called sight, sound, etc. And then when I cognize the objects inside, I use the, what is that? I use Sakshi Pratyaksha. Sakshi Pratyaksha means witness, like the witnessing, an internal witnessing, which is, which is also a kind of which is part of the Pratyaksha Pramana, but it's inward Pratyaksha. So I cognize the cognizer, and the cognizer then becomes what? The cognizer becomes a status superimposed upon the I that is free to be without the status of cognizer. Because I'm not always cognizer. How can I be always cognizer? What am I doing in sleep? What am I cognizing in sleep? Nothing. Nothing to cognize in sleep. Sleep is free of cognitions, and so I'm not always the cognizer. And so therefore what? So this cognizer is a status that is as though superimposed upon the I, like the snake is superimposed upon the rope. That's why it's called aropa. That's what it is, superimposition. So this is how the whole thing it is. So Pashyan, Shrinvan, Vijanan, Manmanah. Like this, the one, it's always in present continuous, present participle, because seeing, hearing, experiencing. I know all these things. And what is the seeing, hearing, experiencing? It is the experience of Brahman. When I am cognizing something, what am I cognizing? Nama Rupa. What makes the Nama Rupa tick? Brahman. So this is when I am cognizing something externally, external to this body, mind, sense complex. When I am cognizing something internally, what am I cognizing? Thoughts, feelings, states of mind. I know something, I don't know something, I'm cognizing my knowledge, I'm cognizing my ignorance. What is all that? What is my knowledge? What is my ignorance? What is the feeling? It's all Brahman. So Brahman cannot be known by itself. Brahman can be known only through name and form. This is the point that was made in the last week's class. So then that is how it is. Pashyan Shrinvan Manvanah Vijanan Bahu Abhavat. So it populated itself in the so-called external world in the form of various objects, names and forms, and it populated itself internally with reference to this body, mind, sense complex. How did it populate itself? It populated itself in the form of various states of mind, various cognitions. It's very beautiful. That's how Brahman is available. So I am never away from Brahman. Pujya Swamiji used to always say, you please try getting away from Brahman and make that your meditation. I'll go far away. Where will you go? I'll go to just Antarctica. Antarctica is what? Brahman. Okay? Can't go there. I'll go to the depths of the ocean in a submarine. Submarine is Brahman. Depth of the ocean is what? Brahman. And then I will go somewhere. I'll go on SpaceX and go somewhere else in space. What is that? Brahman. You can't get away from Brahman. I'll just go deep within and sit still. That is what? Brahman. And so wherever you go, there you are, and wherever you go, whatever you cognize, cognizer is Brahman, cognized is Brahman, And the means of knowledge to use to cognize this Brahman is also what? Brahman. And so therefore this is the Bahubhavanam, means this is the manifold, what is that? The manifestation and the creation of this Brahman outside Akashadi Karyam. So in the form of all the five elements, etc., and whatever, and their minions. And then this is inside in the form of the the content of the seer, hearer, knower, etc. See, very simple. You see, you say knower, known. So I have an object in my hand, this pair of glasses. This is known, I am knower. And then you remove the known. What am I? Knower. I can't call myself knower because this is not there to know. Let's say there is nothing else to know. And whatever is there to know, I have removed. I have removed the known, and then whatever is left cannot be called knower because there is nothing to know. Nothing other than the knower to know. So therefore, what will be called what is left? It is the truth of the knower, the nature, the invariable nature of the knower, the content of the knower. That is what is left when all the known objects are taken away. When all the objects are taken away, the subject, the witness, which can no longer be called witness because there is nothing, the word witness is also relational. There is nothing to witness. And so what is left is the content, the truth of the witness, which is Satchidananda Lakshanam, which is Satchit Ananda. So if this much is clear, we will move ahead. If this much is not clear, we will still move ahead. Okay, all right. So then Visheshena Upalabhyamanam Asti iti evam Vijaniyat iti Yuktam Bhavati. So Adi Shankara concludes that it is important to know that Brahma Asti, because we also saw last time the 7 reasons why Brahman exists. We saw it in order. So this is the section on, there is a Adi Shankara is doing a very wonderful thing. He is doing 2 things simultaneously. He is unfolding the Shastra, the Taittiriya Moola text, and at the same time there is a subtext of proving Brahman's existence to the doubting Thomases. Okay, and then so this is the section. So because why those questions were asked earlier. Who goes to Brahman? Is Brahman there, etc., etc. And so that's why this whole section is doing that. And then he says, Tat etasmin arthe brahmanokte eshah shlokah mantrah bhavati. Tat etasmin. Tat means what? This whole thing that we saw. So kamayat bahusyam praja yeti satchatyacha bhavat niruptancha etc., etc. Everything that we saw, this whole creation cosmology, this what is that? This etasmin arthe means in this manner, brahmanokte means not said by a brahmana. So brahmanena uktah no brahmanoktah no. Brahmana here is the prose portion of the Upanishad. Brahmana is called prose, and then as opposed to mantra. So the Taittiriya Upanishad has a combination of prose and mantra. The Brahmana portion is prose. So Brahmanokte Brahmana vachanena Brahmana Vakyena Ukte. So that which our Brahmane Ukte, or that which was said in the Brahmana, we can even take it as Saptami Tatpurusha, Brahmane Ukte. So Brahmana Ukte. And then Eshaha Shlokaha Mantraha Bhavati. So there is a shloka. Why is there a shloka? Adi Shankara leaves no stone unturned. Shankaracharya says, Yatha Purveshu Annamayadi Atma Prakashakaha Panchasu api Evam Sarvantaratma Astitva Prakashakaha api Mantraha Karyadvarena Bhavati. Yatha, just as. Purveshu means earlier. Purveshu. Where Purveshu? Earlier means we have already on page. So many pages we have come. And so there were so many other things there. Purveshu means where. We have to find out where. Annamayadishu. When we were discussing the koshas. Panchasu. How many koshas are there? 5. So when we were discussing the 5 koshas, what did we do? After every kosha, there was a mantra. अन्नाद्वैः प्रजाः प्रजायन्ते याकाश्च पृथिवीरश्रिताः अथो अन्नेनैव जीवन्ति अथैनदपि यन्त्यन्ततः अन्नगिं हि भूतानां ज्येष्ठं तस्मात् सर्वायुषदुच्यते अन्नात् भूतानि जायन्ते जातान्यन्नेन जीवन्ते अद्यते अत्ति च भूतानि etc etc. That was the shloka for Annamaya. What was the shloka for Pranamaya? Pranan deva anuprananti manushyaah pashavaschaye prano hi bhutanam tasmat tat sarvayushamuchyata iti. Like this, etc. etc. There was a shloka to enhance the Pranamaya kosha. So, and then Manomaya asanne vasabhavati asad brahmeti veda chet. Manomaya kosha also had a shloka. And Vijnanamaya kosha also had a shloka. What was the shloka for Vijnanamaya? Vijnanai yajnam tanute karmani tanute picha. Then Anandamaya also had a shloka. Yato vacho nivartante. Like this, so many shlokas were there. 5 shlokas. No, that one. Asanne vasabhavati was for Anandamaya. And the other one, Yato vacho nivartante, was for Manomaya. So like this, each kosha discussion had the shloka portion to, it was a prakashaka means the illuminer of the discussion or the unfoldment of that particular kosha. Yatha, just as it was there. How did it illumine? Because it talked about the kosha means that which is as though covered. Atma is never covered, but the place of error. There are so many loci of error where the identification just is permeating just the body, just the mind, just the senses, just the mind, like this, just the prana, and just the sense of doership, the sense of enjoyership, etc., etc. It is just permeating only that, and so therefore this is the this shloka, each shloka brought it to the samashti level. Vyashti means I am as good as the body. This is the mistake. So I am being told by this shloka to recognize that this annam is Brahman. And that on the samashti level, on the collective level, all that is there is Brahman alone, and this annam is Brahman, etc., etc. We've seen all that, so I don't need to go into all this. And so I was being told to do that. As a sadhaka, I have to do that, I have to see that. If I'm unable to see that, I have to take it as upasana, meditation. I meditate upon food as Brahman, and then that becomes a prayer. And when I pray upon food, not P-R-A-Y, P-R-E-Y, P-R-A-Y, okay? When I pray upon food as Brahman, what happens? Then I get lots of food. That is the blessing. So if your life is full of food, that means you must have done this upasana either in this life or in previous lives. So this is the thing. So like this, it goes on and on. Each shloka brings us closer to seeing this from a larger perspective, and then immersing one's own prana into the samashti prana, and then seeing that oneness. And if no one is not able to visualize or understand this oneness, one visualizes this as a meditation. So this was done for all the 5 koshas, and this also is a very important, this what is that called? This creation cosmology is also a very important area where this shloka is needed. So, yatha purveshu annamayadi prakashakaha panchasu api evam sarvantaratmaka astitva prakashakaha api mantraha bhavati. So mantraha bhavati, mantra is now there. Why is it there? Because just as the previous koshas were highlighted and unfolded fully through the shlokas, now सर्वांतरात्मा आत्मा अस्तित्व प्रकाशकः. To highlight and unfold Sarvantaratma. Antaratma means what? The innermost Atma in what? Sarva. In everything and everybody, the same Atma resides to show that one more shloka is there, one more mantra is there. What is the mantra? Karyadvarena bhavati. Karyadvarena bhavati means it is there in the form of effect. It is shown because you cannot see Brahman. You cannot see Brahman residing in every heart. Even if you do heart surgery, you cannot see because it is subtle, it is not objectifiable, it's not an object. So how do you recognize Brahman from the effect? The effect being non-separate from the cause. Then we recognize it in the form of effect alone. So this is how it is talked of. And then, so mantraha bhavati. And then now, the seventh Anuvaka starts. And this is how it starts. Asadva idamagra asit tato vai sadajayata tadatmanaggasvayam akuruta tasmat tat sukrutamuchyata iti yadvai tat sukrutam raso vai saha rasaggahyevayam labdhva nandi bhavati kohyevanya kaf pranyat यदेश आकाश आनंदो न स्यात् एष ह्येवायं नन्दयाति यदा ह्येवैष एतस्मिन् दृश्येनात्म्ये निरुक्ते निलयने भयं प्रतिष्ठां विन्दते अथसो भयं गतो भवति यदा ह्येवैष एतस्मिन्नुदरमन्तरं कुरुते अथ तस्य भयं भवति तत्त्वेवं भयं विदुषो मन्वानस्य तदप्येष श्लोको भवति. Let us understand this shloka. Asadva means why, because the next one that follows is a ikara, there is a sandhi. Asadvai idamagre agre asit. Again that A is all gone because of the sandhi. So asadvai idamagre asit. Idam means jagat. Idam, anything that you can objectify. What can you objectify? Jagat. So jagat means this universe, manifest universe. Idam agre, before this manifest universe, asit, it was there. What was there? Asat. Asat. This is a big shock. Because all this time, what have we been talking about Brahmana? Sat. Sat hogide. Now only asat. Asat. Now he says asat. This is a kind of a shock because we are used to one kind of terminology. Sat chit ananda. Satyam jnanam anantam. We drilled a hole into our heads, into our buddhis, and filled it up and packed it with satyam jnanam anantam up till now. Sat. What is asat? Not sat. Right? Opposite of sat. Sat means what? Existence. Asat means? Non-existence. So why suddenly the shloka starts with this? First of all, the shloka means there is a little break from the prose. People should wake up. But in case one did not wake up, this is a wake-up call. Asadvai idamagre asit. What? When you wake up and pay attention. If one was nodding off, or if not even nodding off, sometimes there is, especially with Upanishads, big Upanishads, there is a complacency. Taking it for granted. Yeah, I know this. Yeah, sat, okay. No, asat. Oh, okay. This is very interesting. Asat means here actually unmanifest. Sat means manifest. Because this we already saw. Satchatyacha bhavat. We saw that earlier. Sat means manifest, that which has form, tyat without form. So like this, sat means manifest. Here asat means avyakritam, unmanifest. We'll see that in the Bhashya, but I just wanted to explain this. And then what? From there, sat came. Sat here means manifest. Tad atmanam swayam akurata. Tad atmanam means it created itself. It did not go anywhere else. It did not borrow from any other person or any other being. It did not borrow. It self-created. How? In the form of so many names and forms. It's self-created. It did not borrow from anybody or anything. It's self-created. Tad atmanam swayam akuruta. It made itself into many, so to speak. Tasmat means therefore. Tat sukrutam uchyate. Therefore, it is called sukrutam means well done. Because if that which is limitless Brahman, here Ishvara, makes itself, quote unquote, makes itself into many, it will be infallible. It will be infallible. It will be well thought out. It will be an intelligent creation. It will be an orderly creation, even though sometimes we see disorder. So when we don't like the outcome of something, we see disorder. So many people don't like the outcome of the election. Then what happens? Oh, it must be disorder. But not according to Ishvara. There is an order. I don't understand the order, therefore what? It's wrong, it's disorder. We can't say that. We know too much, and so we cannot say that. We have to sit back and see that we may not, and affirm the fact that we may not understand the order, but that does not mean it is not there. It is there. And it is in order. Because what we call disorder is also included in the order, because the order is that vast, that big, that huge. And so therefore, it is sukritam. Sukritam means well done. Well done. You can't find a flaw in it. It's well done. And also, Sukrita in the tradition has another meaning. It's a double entendre here. So, Sukrita here is Swayam Kritam, and the Swayam Kritam means done by itself. And it is done by itself in what way? What is that it? That itself is limitless, whole, free, all knowledge. So, whatever it does will be excellent. So, excellently done by itself. The itself being limitless, everything that it does will have the DNA of Sat Chit Ananda. So the whole universe will be Sat Chit Ananda, and it has an intelligent creation. There is an intelligent purpose, and for a specific purpose. So that's one meaning of the word Sukrita. Another meaning of the word Sukrita is Punya, according to the Shastra. So the whole universe, we should not see it as Papa. Punya. How is the universe Punya? Because it is the karma of the jivas. Good karma of the jivas. Because you see, such nice things we have to eat. What do we have to complain about? So many things are so comfortable. Every weekend we have classes, if not here, somewhere else. Everywhere there is Vedanta being taught. Courses are going on. Everything is happening. So there's really nothing to complain about. It is what? My own Sukrita. Here you see, unlike other religions, where the human beings are called creatures of God, we don't say God created human beings. No. There's a co-creation. This is a co-creation. And in fact, there is Saptanna Brahmana, a portion in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which says, what did the Jiva bring to the table? To the potluck called the Jagat. What did the Jiva bring and what did Ishvara bring? It's very interesting, really, and very metaphorical as well. Very interesting and metaphorical, and some other time we can go into that. But one thing the Jiva brought to the table is a lot of complaints about what Ishvara brought. Why didn't you bring this? Why did you bring that? How come you didn't bring this for me? So, the Jiva, she brought a lot of complaints. Why is the world like this? Why did you make it like this? And so, but then it is still, so the Jiva brings punya. His own punya, her own punya, the individual punya goes a long way in the creation of the Jagat. Because otherwise, if it was only Papa, then the Jagat would be unsurvivable. Nobody will want to get out of bed. No, even now I don't want to get out of bed. If you say that, you don't really mean it, I will say. You may feel like that, but you don't really mean it. Otherwise, there won't be a reason to get up because everything will be so gloomy, disenchanting, upsetting, triggering. If it was just what is that? Product. If the Jagat was a product of one's own papa karma, one's own, what should I say, wrongdoings, then the Jagat would be intolerable. But generally speaking, no matter how many times our own karma biffs us down, we still get up. Oh, maybe next time it will be better. Next time I'll be better. Next time I'll get this. Next time I'll get that. Next time I'll get this job. Next time I'll get this, something else. I'll get a nicer job, I'll get a nicer house, I'll get a better spouse. All these things are there. Why? Because that hope doesn't, die. Why doesn't the hope die? It is punya. It's my own punya to have that resilience. It's punya to have resilience, to be able, that buoyancy to bounce back and to look forward to the next thing, even though one is disappointed today. Tomorrow will be better. This too shall pass. This is all Sukruta. This is the second meaning of the word Sukrutam. Swayam Kritam and then Punya. Tasmat tat Sukrutam Uchyate iti. Yadvai tat Sukrutam. And then we can say what Yat tat Sukrutam means what is there is Sukrutam. What is it that is there? What is it that is there in the Jagat which is auspicious, which is Sukruta? Sukruta means which is all wonderful. What is it that makes the Jagat all wonderful, all happy, all great, all it's like punya, punya, punya everywhere? What is it that makes the Jagat that? If you ask the question, then the answer is you. You, me. Who, me? No, you must be meaning somebody else. How can you mean me? No, it's you. You means what? Satchidananda Atma. You as Atma make this world sweet. The sweetness that you are yearning for in this universe is you. Raso vai saha. Rasa means juice, essence. Juice, like sugar syrup, in which is bobbing what? A gulab jamun. Gulab jamun bobbing in sugar syrup. Gulab jamun is nothing by itself. It's the sugar syrup that brings it life. Otherwise, you just fry some of those jamuns and keep it and eat it. What will it taste like? Styrofoam. Yeah. Might as well take some, these packing balls of styrofoam and eat that. It'll be the same. Same taste. Same texture also. It'll be a little chewy. It'll be totally bland. It'll be very boring. Raso vai saha. But the rasa, the gulab jamun is so beloved because it is oozing in juice. And that juice of everything, not just gulab jamun. Here, this is just an illustration. That juice is everything. That juice is you. You are that juice. Raso vai saha. You impart, you make everything juicy. You give life to everything. You as Atma give Brahmatma, that which is Brahman and that which is yourself. You give the your essence. You impart this essence to everything. You don't, you are the one that is this juice. This Atma is the juice. Raso vai saha. And then what does it say? Rasaghi ayam labdva. Ayam labdva means gaining this. Gaining this rasa, what happens? Rasaghi ayam labdva nandi bhavati. One instantly becomes a bull. Nandi. No, look at the two avagrahas there. Avagraha means the elision of Labdva, one Anandi bhavati. Yeah, you're not converted into a bull sitting by Shiva, although that would not be a bad thing, To sit by Shiva in the in any form would not be a bad thing at all. But still, here that's not what is being talked about. Rasam hi ayam labdhva nan anandi bhavati. Anandi bhavati means the one who becomes all ananda. All ananda, all the time, the one who becomes, that is the one that we are talking about. And then here, so this is the rasa, and then this gaining this rasa, one recognizes, not becomes, one recognizes oneself as all ananda without a second, without needing any bone, anything to rely on, nothing to rely on. This is what is called sukruta, swayam krita. There is nothing else to rely on. Anandi bhavati. And then it talks about what we just said just now. Ko kaha hi eva anyat kaf pranyat anapranane. Adi Shankara reminds us here, anapranane. Ana means to breathe. Prana also, pranyat means who would breathe. This is the potential mood. So, kaha hi eva anyat. Who indeed would breathe? Who indeed would have any kind of a hope for life? Yadi esha akashah anandah nasyat. Akasha here is this Brahman. If this Brahman wasn't the source of all happiness and ananda, who would get up in the morning? Who would breathe? Who would look forward to getting this ananda? You see, the thing is, everybody says, I want happiness, I want security, I want something. But they don't know that whatever they seek, they already are. So they keep searching for that and then getting disappointed repeatedly, but the disappointment abates, and then one is searching again. Why? Because one is hardwired for this ananda. To discover this ananda, if one lets oneself, one is hardwired to discover this ananda. And so, kaha eva anyat, kaha pranyat, yadi yat esha akashah, yadi esha akashah anandah nasyat. Esha hi eva anandayati. Anandayati means the one who rejoices. The one who rejoices because of Atma. It's the only source of Ananda. Only source. There is no other source. There isn't. Even though you say, no, somewhere 7 seas beyond, there is something I really want. And then, and then I have to have it in order to be happy. If the person says, what will Vedanta say? Vedanta will say, let's not worry about what is beyond the 7 seas. Let us worry about the nature of the wanting person within. Why is it that you want? Why are you wanting that? No, it will make me happy. Why aren't you happy? Because I have so many things I don't want. And this is one thing I want which I don't have. So therefore I am unhappy. So then what will Vedanta do? The study of Vedanta will query into the wanting person and basically make the wanting person disappear. Vedanta does not bother with wants and desires. Because if Vedanta started to remove, if the study of Vedanta, if the purpose of Vedanta was to remove everybody's desire one by one, imagine in one head how many desires are there? Countless. More than the hairs on one's head. And then you talk about that is just in one head. Then you talk about the whole 8 billion people in the universe. Imagine how many desires there will be. And if Vedanta Shastra's job was to remove each and every desire, then it would just be counterproductive. This is called Prathama Malla Nyaya. Nyaya means a maxim. Malla is Pahalwan, a strong man, a wrestler. So, if you want to, Prathama Malla means the current reigning wrestling champion. So, if you want to be the next champion, what do you have to do? Do you have to fight with each and every street urchin in the village? No. What do you have to do? You have to knock off this Reigning champion. You knock off this malla, then you become the new malla. Correct? You don't go after each and every small fellow. You don't say, come, I want to prove that I'm stronger than you and I'm going to biff you and I'm going to bash you up. You don't need that. That fellow has already done that. He has proven that he's stronger than everybody else. So you just have to knock him down. Similarly, Vedanta, what does it do? It doesn't go after small or big desires. It knocks off the desiring person by revealing the nature of the desiring person as mithya. Mithya means an as though reality, a dependent reality depending on Sat, Atma, Brahman. So therefore, this Ananda is one's own. It is not belonging to anybody else. Why? Because the wants are because of not knowing one's own nature. This is revealed. Yada hi eva एषः एतस्मिन् अदृश्ये अनात्म्ये अनिरुक्ते अनिलयने अभयं प्रतिष्ठां विन्दते अथसो अभयंगतः भवति. So then the phala is given here. Phala means what? The fruit of gaining this knowledge is very beautifully talked about here. The fruit of gaining this knowledge. And what is the fruit of gaining this knowledge? Yada means when. When means the possibility is there. Otherwise it would have said chet, if. It doesn't say if. If you gain this knowledge means it's like a condition. Oh, I don't know if it is not raining tomorrow, then I'll go to the market. That's a very big if, especially during monsoon. Correct? So here also, if the Upanishad had said, if you gain this knowledge, you will become free of fear, that then there is already a certain hopelessness. If means, oh my God, so many things. But it doesn't say if. It says when you gain this knowledge. Means what? The possibility is already there. You have come this far. You are studying already so much. So when you gain this knowledge, what happens? It says something very beautifully. Yada hevaisha etasmin. Before it was tasmad. It was remote. It was that. Now it is this Brahman. What is this Brahman? Adrishye. Adrishye means that which is invisible. Anatme, that which doesn't have anything to stand on. It is self-standing. Anirukte, anilayane, that which has doesn't have form, which does not have an ashraya. All this we'll see in detail. Ashraya means doesn't have a support. And then anilayane, when one sees this as oneself, abhayam pratishtham vindate. Abhayam pratishtham vindate means what? Gains the pratishtha, gains established in this knowledge of oneself, and gains what is called abhayam, fearlessness. Usually there are two things that bother us most. One is sorrow, the other one is fear. This is the two primal emotions. All animals have it. Sorrow and fear. Fear is very primal. So therefore, the Upanishads have divided themselves into fear removal Upanishads and sorrow removal Upanishads. Like Chandogya 7th chapter, Narada Sanat Kumara dialogue. Soham Bhagavaha Shochami Shokasya Param Tarayatu Bhavan. Oh, revered sir, I still grieve, even though I know so much. I've studied all the Vedas, I've studied the Upavedas, I've studied Upangas, I have studied the 6, what is that called, the Angas. Everything I've studied. I have studied all the disciplines of knowledge. Still, I am subject to sorrow, to grief. Please take me on the other side of grief. That's why I have come to you for this knowledge. Because I have heard from you and people like you. Atmavit shokam tarati. The person of knowledge crosses sorrow. Even the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita also talks about sorrow. Ashochyananvashochastvam. You are crying over something that should not be cried over, Arjuna. That's how the teaching begins. querying into Arjuna's sorrow. And it ends with Ma Shuchaha. Aham mokshayishyami ma ashuchaha. Ma ashuchaha. So do not grieve. So that is a grief removal thing. These two are grief removal things. And then this Upanishad is based on fear removal because that's also very important. So primal driver of actions in the human world and in the animal world also. But animals are not bothered by it so much as people are because their memories are more short term. And so here, this is a fear removal. So then, what is the phala of knowing this knowledge in the manner that we are seeing? Bhayam gataha bhavati, bhayatito bhavati. The person is beyond fear. There is no fear in the person's life. How, why, we will see later. Very, very beautifully put. Because the fearlessness cannot be gained all of a sudden. It's given in two steps. One is there is no fear for this person because the person is feeling safe because surrendered to Brahman, surrendered to Ishvara. The person feels safe, the person feels not threatened by anything because one feels like one is under the umbrella of Ishvara. Then from there one graduates to absolute fearlessness because one identifies as Brahman. There is no second. There is no second thing at all. So therefore one becomes fearless. That's the absolute fearlessness. It's given in steps and stages so that one doesn't feel overwhelmed and not able to connect to that. So athaso bhayam gato bhavati. This is abhayam pratishtham vindate. Athaso bhayam gato bhavati. We saw this. And then the Upanishad always presents the other scenario also. What is the other scenario? Yada hi esha etasmin udaram antaram kurute. The cause of fear is given. What is the cause of fear? The cause of fear is not seeing the oneness, making a difference between myself and another. When I make even the slightest difference, tiniest difference, fear comes. I'm afraid of something other than me. Not of a small ant or something, but I don't know. Suppose I don't know the size of this other thing. Definitely I'll be afraid. Definitely I'll be afraid. Like this Wizard of Oz mythical creature. Everybody was so afraid. And what did it turn out? Behind the curtain, who was giving all these commands was a scared little fellow sitting behind the curtain. So like that, everybody is afraid of something or the other because there is a difference between myself and the other. Ut aram. Ut means even little bit. Aram means like the slightest difference. Antaram means separation. Kurute, one who makes. So, then that person, athatasya bhayam bhavati, that person indeed becomes fearful. Tatvevam bhayam, tattu evam bhayam, vidushaha. Vidushaha here is not, what is that called? Is not jnani. Vidushaha means scholarly, but not a jnani. Or vidushaha amanmanasya, the one who does not see oneself as a vidusha, then that person becomes besotted by or run over by fear. This is the thing we are going to see now here. Bhashya. Asadva idamagre asit. First, there is just a statement of the first line by Adi Shankara. Asad iti vyakrita nama rupa vishesha viparita rupam. So, see, asad iti. So, asad means what here? Asad doesn't mean non-existence. Adi Shankara says, asad iti vyakrita nama rupa. First he defines sat. What is sat? Vyakrita nama rupa vishesham is, vishesha rupam is sat. Vyakrita means manifest. Manifested into various names and forms, whose rupa, whose nature is manifest into various names and forms is called sat. Tad viparitam, opposite of that. The here is virodharthe. There are 6 kinds of negation in Sanskrit. This is oppositional negation. Opposite of that is asat. Means what? If sat means if Sat means Avyakrita, Vyakrita Nama Rupa Vishesha, meaning Sat means that which is differentiated, Asat means what? Undifferentiated, because it's opposite, we are already being told. So then he defines Sat, and then he says Tad Viparitam. Tad Viparitam. Avyakrita Nama Rupe, Vyakrita Nama Rupa Vishesha Viparitam Avyakritam Brahma is Asat. Unmanifest Brahman is called Asat. Na punaha atyantameva Asat. He also cautions us to not think of it as non-existence, absolute non-existence. Because why? The second line. Tasmat sad ajayata. Sat means here, if we take it as existence, Asat means non-existence, and then we say from non-existence came existence, then what? What will that make us do? Pull out our hair in clumps. That is, if there is hair. Okay? So, that's all we will do. Because how can existence come out of non-existence? What comes out of non-existence? Nothing. Nothing comes out of nothing. If there is non-existence means nothing. What comes out of nothing? Nothing. You can't say, at least nothing came. Yeah, nothing is nothing. Nothing means no thing. So if no thing is there to begin with, how can something come out of nothing? So therefore, he cautions us, it's just free of name and form. It's not nothing. It is very much there. It is free of name and form. It is free of manifestations. That's all it is. It is Brahma. It is Brahman alone. Because he says, Nahi asataha sajjanma asti. It's unconscionable to think that out of nothing something will come. Out of asat, sat will come. You cannot think like that. Idam iti nama rupa vishesha vyakritam jagat. So what is this idam? That which is differentiated by name and form. This whole jagat is called idam. Agre purvam prag utpattehe prag. So before this jagat came into being, this jagat was what? Asat, undifferentiated Brahman, without name and form. That's all we have to understand. So, Brahma eva asat shabdavachyam asid. It was in the form of undifferentiated, which here is called asat shabdavachyam, referred to by the word asat. And then tataha tasmat, from that, asataha vai, from this undifferentiated Brahman came what? Sat. Sat came. What is this Sat? Pravibhakta nama rupa vishesham ajayata utpannam asit. That's all. Pravibhakta means properly and well defined. It's not like a blob called the Jagat came out, and then you have to look for names and forms which are all in the form of blobs, maybe with little googly eyes or something. No. Each one is well differentiated, and there is space between one and the other, so you can delineate one thing and from the other thing. You can count all of them, even though they are ultimately countless. You can count them, you can objectify them. So like this, all the things in the Jagat, came means they variegated. They variegated in this particular form. And then, so then it says, Pravibhakta nama rupam ajayata. Kim tataha pravibhaktam karyam iti. Pituhu iva putraha na ityaha tat asat shabdavachyam swayameva atmanam eva akuruta. So then we come into another little blip. What is that little obstacle? It came from Sat. When you say, how did it come? Like a baby from the mother. First, the mother was inside the baby was inside the womb of the mother, and then after 9 months it came out. Now it is well delineated. It has its own name and form, and the mother is separate, baby is separate. Did it come like that? No. It did not come in that particular way. How else did the Jagat come? It came on its own. It variegated itself, more like amoeba rather than a human birth. But even in amoeba, there may be mother amoeba, daughter amoeba, father amoeba, son amoeba, but we think of something that manifested itself in many names and forms. Just like you manifest yourself, now thinker, now hearer, now feeler, now observer, like that. And so, in the same way, it simultaneously manifested itself in many, many names and forms. And that is what is the takeaway from this. More we'll see next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. Praveen wants to say hi to everybody. Yeah. Praveen is here. His father is here. Praveena is also here. So. Want to say something? No. All right.
Thank you.